Before Hades 2 and Hades, there was Bastion, the game that put Supergiant Games on the eyes of the public. Releasing back in 2011, let's revisit this old gem as I slowly clear my Steam library of games. So grab something to drink, sit back, relax, and enjoy the narrative of Bastion.
Proper story is supposed to start at the beginning. Ain't so simple with this one. Now here's a kid whose whole world got all twisted, leaving him stranded on a rock in the sky.
Ooh, I love a game with a good narrative.
He gets up, sets off for the Bastion, where everyone agreed to go in case of trouble. Ground forms up under his feet as it pointing the way. He don't stop to wonder why. Finds his lifelong friend just lying in the road.
Looks like we got our old reliable, the hammer.
It's a touching reunion.
Traveling further, we meet our first enemy.
That a survivor? No, ma'am. It's a gas fella, forced out from underground. Kid pops him good. Fella got a piece of him, though. An old repeater falls out of the sky. Ain't a gift from the gods, but it'll have to do.
Another weapon already.
Gotta hold her still to spin up the chamber. Kid's worked up quite a thirst by now, so that fountain looks real inviting. Sometimes you just need a drink.
Potions unlocked.
Kid finds a memento from a girl he knew. Always used to fancy her. He sets foot inside one of Celandia's famous watering holes. Inside's old Rondi, the bartender. The calamity got him before his drinking did. Rondi always wanted his ashes scattered here.
Rest in peace, Rondi.
Then Kid finds his trusty shield. But just as he's getting a handle on it, the security takes him for a petty thief.
Ooh, another weapon.
Special delivery. Gas fellas. Windbags start turning up the last call. He gets a good look at things on his way down. He lands on top of a breaker's bow, and it ain't broke. He knows he should draw the string all the way back. Wasn't long before the kid could loose an arrow, strong and true. The kid pockets a memento from the breaker, once the fastest man in the land. And then he falls to his death. I'm just fooling.
At least falling doesn't instantly kill us.
Good news is the emergency defenses still work. Bad news is they're aiming for the kid.
Man, I gotta figure out the bow.
Picks up a few pointers from a dusty old tome.
Spin to win.
He's a mighty fast learner. He finds the distillery right next to the arsenal. Tough part of town. One sip of the spirits in that distillery, and the kid'll feel like a new man.
So these drinks are passive buffs. Let's go with the fetching fizz.
The arsenal's where the kid can pick the best tools for the job.
I think a bow is still the best.
That one was Maud, the tutor. Once taught the kid good manners. He never used them, though. Kid takes a chunk of alloy. Smell of barley and spoiled blueberries fills the air. Scumbags. Kid maybe shouldn't have done what he just did.
Oh dang, our first boss fight.
Robs a scumbag in his last meal. Kid puts him out of his misery. He finds the core to the wharf district. He steals the city's heart. Might as well. Kid has a feeling he better get a move on. The place is starting to fall. See, that core Kid took was the only thing making this particular rock stay afloat. At last, the skyway's in sight. Whisks him where he needs to go. Now the kid sees something stranger still. His mind races. Sure enough, he finds another. He finds me. We talk for a spell. There's a bit of the Bastion's power in that crest, enough to point the way to the cores. All I tell him is to set that core of his on the monument there, then watch. I try to let the kid down gently. This is the Bastion, all right, except no one else showed up.
Dang, we are the only two to make it here.
And just like that, the Bastion comes alive. Starts growing again, growing stronger. Kid's gotta put its power to good use. Now the Bastion can send him even farther into the wild unknown. Kid ponders what to build. Makes time to sample spirits from my personal supply. Cinder brick stout sure goes down smooth, then stays in your gut like a rock. The Skyway. Now the kid can ride the wind to distant lands. Long here. Used to come here for target practice. Used to play a little game. See who could bust the most targets and the fewest shots. He's focused. He's armed. And he's off. Perfect shot just happens in a flash. Puts on the right solid performance.
So these proving grounds provide upgrades for our weapons. Ooh, first try, second place. After a couple more tries, we finally get first place.
Feeling real proud of that show.
Alright, time to move on.
The intersection between bad and wrong. Ought to be a core down one of these twisted streets. But which one? He heads for the squirt steps. Won't be no field trip this time. Scumbag can digest just about anything. Except for this. It's quick for slicing and light enough to throw.
Looks like we get a machete. Honestly, the machete is fine. Not really my type of weapon.
Them squirts just don't know when to quit. Squirts don't make the best of friends, but they can be useful in a pinch. Up north is where the gas fella foreman used to live, tending to his flock. Know why gas fellas all dress alike? Kids wondering the same thing. And there it is, but it's locked down tight in an alloy cage. The blustery old foreman's keeping his fellas in check, almost like he's showboating for the crowd. And now there's a new marshal in town. He hears the whole place groan, but it's too tough to fall. He heads for the east side, where windbags used to keep the local forge. They ain't pleased. No coal or alloy left to pay him for their efforts. Inside the forge, Kid can fine-tune those instruments of his.
Traveling to another part, we find the forge, a place to upgrade our weapons.
With a good length of meat gut, that bow's like new again. Odd place to find the likes of Percy the Snitch. Never much cared for that big wide grin of his.
With the core secured, time to head back.
The core hums in his pack. The monument's calling for it. The windbags used to be alright. Then the calamity took the floor out from under him.
Would you look at that? We got a new friend.
Kid does it again. Only fair he decides what we build next. The Bastion's a place of peace, but we can hold our own if we have to.
Arsenal to change back to the hammer. Let's go to the melting pot next.
In better days, the melting pot was sealed tighter than the skin on a squirt. Core stuck inside one of those fancy cages. Some of the stuff lying around is downright dangerous. He throws a switch. Now what could possibly go wrong?
Looks like for this core, it's a holdout mission.
Quite a bit, as it turns out. The cage starts lifting from the core ever so slow. All Kid can do is wait. Shipments start falling in. Scumbags don't take kindly to interlopers. It ain't all bad. Some Kid finds some spices from the motherland, tax-free. One thing's for sure, that cage is awful heavy. 9, 8, 7, give or take a few seconds. Finally, the core's within reach. And done. He's got it. Just gotta get to the nearest barge. The old world's finished, but the new world's just getting started. Folks voyaged across the boundless sea to found Caelondia. It was good living here for a while. A lot of things need fixing up in this world, and we can start right here. Kid packs a special surprise in every one of those arrows. Turns out those old bones still have some spark in them. The little Zolwood oil on that blade shines like a light. Windbag Ranch was built for gathering squirt extract in copious supply. Ain't nothing more healthful.
Seems like whenever we get a new weapon, a new proving ground unlocks. Let's test our luck with this one.
Some folks showed up to make a fast buck with nothing but a knife. Kid cuts all of them down soon enough.
I spent way too long trying to get first place, but could never reach it.
Work at them things.
Time to go down to the sundown path.
Couples used to walk the sundown path. Kid ain't here for pleasure, though. Somebody gets to the core before the kid. Floor starts giving way under the lightest step. A single panic squirt could bring the whole place down. So could a reckless kid, for that matter. Stray valuables are lying everywhere. Kid thinks twice about risking his hide for him, though. See, the path was intended for leisurely strolling and such. Sky bridges link the path together. One of them bridges just whips the kid along. Finds a spyglass, like the ones they'd used to search the stars. Who else could have taken the core? Well, ain't no survivor stole the thing. Scumbag ate it by mistake. Tough break. Unlike the kid, that core ain't coming back.
No core found, and we come back home empty-handed.
In all this toil, kid keeps coming back to an overwhelming question. Who else could have survived the calamity? We could always see the stars. We just never could reach them, no matter how high we built.
Let's try the Trapper Shingle hunting grounds.
Place better than Trapper Shingle for learning to tread light and shoot straight. Trappers had to tread real careful here, else take a nasty fall. They train themselves by clearing out the targets, while not clearing out the floor. Any good trapper knows never to take a step till the time is right.
Best I can do is only 3rd place.
A decent trapper wouldn't walk away empty-handed.
To the Hanging Gardens.
The dead welcome him with open arms. Kid sees it plain, frozen faces all around. He don't much care to see him. Not like this. These folks never saw the calamity coming, but someone did. Someone close. Someone who ain't like Mr. Beckley and his kindly wife.
Seems to be a lot of people that got caught here.
It was someone like him. Kid sees him there agape, in the flesh. Hits a snag or two trying to get to him.
Our first live person. Time to meet them.
The Thunder brothers didn't make it. They never saw what it was like beyond the walls. Nor did the Bird Boy. Didn't make it. The Jawsons. They didn't make it. Grady Sr., Grady Jr. They didn't make it. But him, he survived. Kid finds proof enough that man ain't from around here. Just think, without that man, we wouldn't be here right now, would we? The core survives as well. Kid does what he has to do. What do you say to a man who's seen too much? Kid hasn't a clue, but he says this. We have to go. Please. He's a proper gentleman, that man. His name is Zolf. No hiding he's an Ura. Folks like him ain't never been a common sight in Caelondia. He's relieved to see a living face or two. The kid and I introduce ourselves in kind. Both to him and to each other for the first time. We fought the Ura decades ago, but that was then. Things are different between us now. For Zolf, Caelondia was like a second home. He's real worried about his first home, too. Far to the east. We all lost loved ones in the calamity, he says. I don't know how I'm gonna go on without mine. Zolf offers to help me plot the skyways for the kid. At least the calamity hasn't touched the stars, he says. He was born in the Tazzle terminals. The Ura sent him on a mission of peace to our city, and he's lived here ever since.
Why welcome, Zolf?
The cores. They remember. That's why this place is coming together. That's why things are gonna be alright. Well, look what we have here. kid can pay respect to the old world and earn it in kind. The valediction. Just another one of my sketches. Nothing more.
The memoriam is kind of like World Quest. Pyth Orchard next.
Pith Orchard. Place is a dead end in more ways than one. Folks used to make pilgrimage here to pay their respects to Pith, the bull. Well, the gods are long gone now. And the orchard core is long gone too. Seems Pith ain't much of a watchdog. The gods don't care about trinkets, but the kid ain't no god. In time, though, the bull stopped being a symbol and started being decoration. Pith makes a decent scarecrow, at least. Then Pith lights up like a rodeo. Ain't easy punching through his hide. Kid breaks him to bits. Must have been guarding that shrine. So what'll it be? Invoke the gods? Or tell them off? Pith.
Instead of a core, we find a shrine. In turn for making enemies stronger, we get more XP and fragments.
Kid decides to press his luck. Well, if the gods are alive, they must be plenty sore. Kid passes Pith's trial, and he's richer for it.
Another level gained and another passive unlocked.
Now we can build a shrine of our own, though I got some alternatives in mind. Zolf doesn't touch the thing. Says the god of commotion is no children's toy. The Ura feared the gods. We turned them into toys, put their faces on our walls. Squirt cider will toughen you right up. Too bad about the musty aftertaste.
Try the Bullhead Court.
The accused always got a fair shake in Zealandia. Some used to take the bullhead trial. Survive the trial without taking a scratch, you'd walk away a free man. Gotta always watch your back. The kid pulls through in fine form.
Only got the second best prize. Off to Cinderblock Fort.
There's only one way to Cinderbrick Fort. The hard way. Sure, the city marshals may be gone, but now the fort's crawling with windbags. Well, windbags young and old keep fighting for the fort. At least the marshals left the kid a parting gift. Something the windbags just can't handle. Something that'll punch clean through their greasy hides.
Ooh, a musket. Very nice. Kind of like a primitive shotgun.
Kids blasting everything in sight with that newfangled musket. Then they bring out Glutus and Glandon and all their scumbag uncles. Kid takes down Glutus, or maybe it was Glandon. The windbags finally get the message. The Skyway's a welcome sight after all that. And now ain't nothing left for nobody down at Cinderbrick Fort. Kid shows up just as Zolf's telling me about his own journey to the city. Seems the only thing the Calamity saved for Zolf was a smoking pipe. Poor kid collapses after just one drag. The past. Only good thing ever come out of the past is history.
Zolf's smoke thing is a way to get a bunch of shards.
The past catches up with the kid. Hardly had a moment's rest since all this started. Fair to say he's led a hard life, supposing what he says in his sleep ain't no lie. He never knew his old man, but he had his mama to take care of. Frail thing with pure white hair like his. Having his mama's hair did the kid no favors while he was growing up, but he learned to hold his own out there. School ain't working out, so the kid signs up for a turn on the rippling walls. Make his mama some money. Thanks to folks like the kid, the walls kept Caelondia safe from whatever's out there. Once the kid done his time, he hurried on home. Turns out his mama's time was done too. The city had nothing for him. The money he'd been sending home was nowhere to be found either. So what'd the kid do? Why, he went right on back to the walls for another 5 years. In the history of Caelondia, nobody's ever volunteered for a second shift on the walls. Out there, kid learned to fend for himself. Learned to build. Learned to break. In time, the kid earned good standing with the marshals. They trusted him to scout out farther than anybody. One night, on one of his expeditions, the ground beneath him shuddered, cracked, and split apart. He saw nothing where the world used to be. The calamity happened just like that. All the kid had to work with was his hammer and the clothes on his back. Through twisted streets, he ran with nothing but the city crest and an old stranger's voice to guide him. Well, he finally arrived at Caelondia's vaunted safe haven. He and no one else. But then, all he got was more thankless work from a man who ain't even asked his name. Sure, I may be the one who dreamt up the walls and the Bastion, but the kid made him real, not me. I'd like to say I'll never forget him, or what he's doing, what he's done. I surely would.
After enough waves, it's finally cleared.
The marshals seem like good men, he says. They treated him with dignity. Zolf brought his antique smoking pipe all the way from the terminals. Even since the Ura surrendered to us, the marshals kept a wary eye on him.
Musket upgrade.
You want to tune a scrap musket, you start with the barrel. Zolf's travels ain't much compared to what the kids had to go through for all this. The lost and found. Here, kid takes fragments of the old world and makes them whole again.
Lost and Found is pretty much a shop.
All it takes is some fragments, and the Bastion makes it good as new. If you're feeling low, count on the buttery flavor of our own Bastion bourbon.
Scrap musket, proving grounds.
Ever felt a Zolwood gourd, like picking up broken glass barehanded? At Zolwood Grove, marshals learn to make every shot count. The trick was to pop all those nasty gourds without wasting ammo. Most marshals didn't get far on their first few tries. It took a keen eye, not an itchy trigger finger.
After enough tries, I succeed in getting first place.
The best of the best cleared the course in just a few shots.
Very nice. off to our next destination.
The Langston River flowed free and wild till the calamity drank it all up. Maybe all that water just grew wings and flew off. Lucky for him, a certain famous ferry barge is still afloat. Weepin' Nellie. She'll send some squirts crying home as she leaves port. Maybe Nellie knows the way to the core. They try to knock her out. Well, Weepin' Nellie tries harder. Then the kid hears an unusual sound, like 100 flapping wings. She's gonna need a little help with all them peckers. Traffic things think they're king of the roost now. Well, it all proves too much for poor Nellie. She's just gotta make one last stop. With her last breath, Nellie gets the kid to solid ground. Why go to Prosper Bluff? The city was the most beautiful place in the world. We all knew that. There the kid hears something he ain't heard in a long while. Well, no point explaining what happens next, right?
After a while of clearing enemies, we find another survivor.
Suffice it to say, kid ain't coming home empty-handed. And besides, it's like the song goes.
Build that wall up to the sky. Someday your bird is gonna fly.
They'll be here before too long. We darn near celebrated when the kid got back, didn't we? Zolf never thought he'd see a fellow her again. We become fast friends. Calamity has that effect on people. But there was more to be done. There was one last core to find. Kid's surprised when I tell him there's only one core left. I shouldn't have believed it either. A scientific journal written in Zolf's native tongue. He learned so much from it. Too much. If only I'd known half the secrets of the calamity were tucked away in that book, I'd have worked to translate it right away. Most of the Ura never got a taste of Ceylondia's fine goods, unless they were born and raised in the city like Zia here. Sure, the world's all gone to pieces farther than the eye can see, but leave it to this gal to point out the amazing view. Girl tried to run away from home one time, but the marshals stopped that, didn't they? So many secrets in there and she can't even read it. Her father's own journal. Behold, the
Shrine built. Now we can activate any of the gods we want.
We track the final core beyond the city to the wilds. The wild unknown. Place can eat a man alive. Place is so raw, even the calamity couldn't cook it. Not all of it.
Ooh, dual pistols.
Know what's better than having a slinger pistol in a fight? Having two. Savage things lurking at every turn.
Dang machine gun plant.
Pecker's got the core, like they're building a bastion of their own. The welcoming committee scrambles to attention. Didn't expect the kid so soon. They shouldn't have let their guard down. Getting that core was one thing. Getting out's gonna be another. He digs his way out of the clearing, but the wilds won't let him go without a fight. Wallflowers survived the calamity. It toughened him up. Same goes for the kid. Then kid gets the feeling he's being watched. Not by me, by a lunkhead. Lunkheads ain't fond of two-legged animals. Hit him anywhere but the hindquarters and we only make him mad. After all, he's got the final core. His journey's over, right? Well, no, it ain't. Not by a long shot. Kid knows something's up when we ain't there to give a warm welcome. See, Zolf and I were just wrapping up a heated discussion. Zolf can barely muster the words. The calamity failed, he says, but I will not. And with that, Zolf leaves us here, alone.
God dang it, Zulf.
Zolf cursed the city, cursed the Bastion, cursed me, said he was going home. When Zolf got through reading that journal, he just snapped. Started smashing up the monument till I tried to stop him. Zolf banged up the monument pretty bad. But there's a way to put her back together. The shards. We're gonna need all of them to nurse the Bastion back to health.
Now we need shards to repair the Bastion.
After Zolf's little episode, Kid sets off in search of shards. First stop, Jawson Bog. You'll get lost in that bog, I told the kid, and I won't be able to guide you back. Well, I let him go. What else could I do? What could any of us do? Zolf put us in a real bind. Hurt the Bastion bad. Shame the only place to fill that prescription is out here in the wilds. This place is intoxicating. Don't know where he's gone. Might be gone for good for all I know. Wherever he is. Somewhere I've never been. Somewhere I never want to go. The dead welcome him with open arms. Kid pops him good. That a survivor? No, ma'am. It's a lonesome ghost of a gas fella. I'm Zolf of Ligura. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Sure enough, he finds peckers, lunkheads, wallflowers, pincushions, vine apples, swamp weeds, ankle gators. Now the Bastion can send him even farther into the wild unknown. Kid sets foot inside one of Caelondia's famous watering holes. He has the nerve to flash the shield he stole. The security's just gonna have to straighten him out. Kid succeeds where the calamity failed. Would you look at what he did to poor old Ronde the bartender? Proper story's supposed to start at the beginning. It's so simple with this one. Now here's a kid whose whole world's alright, snoozing there on a rock in the sky. He wakes up. I'm just fooling. He sees what's left of the rippling walls. Years of work undone in an instant. He sees what's left of Pith, the bull. The gods, they're all undone. He sees what's left of his lifelong friend. His friend, he's come undone too. Thought we'd lost him, but he finally comes to. The shard ain't lost either. Not anymore. Now to find a ticket out of this hole. Ever heard of the lung blossom? It's bigger than the stories say. The breath on that thing, like a scumbag sprung a leak.
Ooh, another boss fight.
They say one whiff of lung blossom can make you lose your mind. Well, a kid prunes it down to size somehow. A shard is like a poor man's core. But beggars can't be choosers. That's it. A few more shards like that, and we'll be back in business. A single shard can breathe new life into this place. The shard's got enough juice to spruce up any of these places.
Ooh, the shards give a second upgrade to the buildings.
The arsenal's complete in case we need protection.
Onto the lagoon.
Ankle gators used to roam the wilds, and they nested at Rothus Lagoon. Many a tale folks used to scare their children straight originated here. These beasts, they don't like company. Only the city's brushers knew their way around the lagoon. They moved quick and quiet. Even the brushers learned to fear this place. They used to think that ankle gators were extinct. Well, they ain't. One of them's been living in the tall grass. They called her Queen Anne. Turns out Queen Anne got a hold of a shard. Ankle gators love shiny things. Can't fight Queen Anne without the proper tools. The brushers use their pikes to keep their distance around here. Now the kid can do the same. They say you can't hurt an ankle gator unless it's raining. And it ain't raining. Sharp sticks make Queen Anne nervous, so she backs off a bit. Kid's got a mean throwing arm.
Looks like we got a pokey stick for the ankle gators.
Queenie leads the kid into some kind of twisted trap. One bad step in that tall grass and he's Queen Anne's lunch. Those leaping lunkheads don't like Queen Anne any better than the kid. That old gator's right on his tail.
After a slow, methodical fight through the brush, we face Queen
Wanna
Anne.
know how to find an ankle gator lair? They use a kid as bait. Now she's coming for him. She's got nowhere else to go. The shard's sitting in plain view. They say if you run across an ankle gator, you better keep running. She's starting to get annoyed. And now he's made her mad. Rest in peace, Queen Anne. That was for the brushers. Queen Anne's reign is over. We even got a crown jewel. All that trouble for a single shard. But you know what? It was worth it. Still no mail. Go figure. Just the occasion to crack open the distillery's private reserve. Finders keepers. That gator's a crazy gal, but so's the gal who promised to look after her.
Welcome to the group, little ankle gator.
Prepare for the wilds. Ceylonia's brushers practice at Camp Donce. Had to navigate a maze of pincushions with nothing but a pike. It's a dangerous test for a dangerous job. Sometimes the course was brutal. Health tonics were off limits at Camp Donce. They said they made you weak. Just getting through the course in one piece wasn't accomplished.
Proving grounds only to get second place.
If you did all right at Camp Bouncy, you got to go to the wilds. Know how Ceylandia became the richest city in the world? 2 words. Point Lemaine. If the wilds could ever be tamed, it was gonna happen right here. The Army's triggers once had the place on lockdown. Kid might as well pick up where they left off. Blam! Just like my fighting days. Gun like that can even put the wilds in check.
Ooh, a sniper rifle. Nice.
The Grand Rail of Point Lemaine. Not only is it still there, it still works. Of course, it's no longer shipping hides and alloys and spices, but it can give the kid a lift. Lunkheads settled in like they own the place. Of course, the Grand Rail's seen much more fighting in bygone times. Near on 50 years ago, first shots fired in the Ura-Ceylandian War. It was right here that Zolf's Ura forefathers decided to mix it up. Okay, so maybe we didn't get their sign-off on the whole Grand Rail thing. That was bad. The rail must have shook the Ura to the bone down in those dens of theirs. Well, the rail won't last much longer now that the kid took the shard. It's still got one good run in store for him, though. Turns out he's got company up at the rail station, waiting for him. Not just another wallflower or pincushion, mind you. At first, he thinks it's Zolf. Turns out he's wrong. This is for you, says the man. Then wham.
Did I just get jumped?
When the kid comes to, the man's long gone, but something else is there. The only words the kid recognizes on that parchment are for Zia. Well, what's a kid to do? He took the shard, he took the hit, and he took that note. It ain't too late to unlock the potential of this place. Ain't saying much, but that's the greatest forge in all the city. Zolf's messenger was one of his people. Wonder just how many of them survived, and what exactly Zolf told him. Finding gourmet ingredients ain't easy these days, but we'll take what we can get. The note says it plain. Zia, go east to learn the truth about the calamity and our people. I'll be waiting. Sincerely, Zolf. That's the way to make every shot count. Even the army never issued carbines in such fine shape.
Dual pistol proving ground.
You have to think fast to survive the wilds, and none thought faster than the slingers. They could shoot their pistols with the speed of a machine. They knew just when to start shooting, and when to stop. The slingers were much quicker than the average pistolier. No matter how fast you are, you can always get faster.
Looks like we are heading east to learn more about the calamity.
Blew up in the calamity. Why, Colford Cauldron here blew up way ahead of its time. The cauldron boiled over some 300 years ago. They say it filled the skies with ash and the lakes with molten rock. Best to keep out of the cauldron. As for us, we learned an awful lot from Colford Cauldron. That learning led to some interesting inventions. The raw power of the world fell right into our hands. Sure, we dusted off a good many secrets out here, but we discovered other things we're better off not knowing. The taste of air so hot it sticks to your lungs. All sorts of awful things crawling underfoot. Never thought we'd find so much life in all that ash. The more ash we swept aside, the more life we found. After all, when we looked down inside Culford Cauldron, we saw in there the heart of the world. The heart now laid bare by the calamity. We had to have it. As for the kid, he just has to get that shard out of there. The cauldron's tenants all gather up to bid the kid a fond farewell. With a good spyglass, you can still see the cauldron from the city. But all the fires died out. There's nothing left of it. The shard works like a charm. You can hear the monument's heartbeat again. They said the wild could never be tamed. If only they could see us now. We're all a little short on friends these days, so that's a welcome sight. We need an awful big lost and found under the circumstances. Kid arrives just in time to sample Zia's famous cooking. He wolfs down too much too fast, and it all goes to his head. I've said a lot about the kid, but he ain't the only one wrapped up in all this. What's he thinking? Let me see if I got this straight. I only heard it once. Once there was a normal Ura girl, but she wasn't born in the Tazzle terminals like the rest of her people. She was from Ceylondia.
So the pot is a way for us to learn more about Zia.
Her folks were orphaned in the war, taken in and raised inside the city, on condition they would never return to the terminals. Ura refugees who came into the city had to stay for life. It was a way to reduce the risk of city secrets leaking out. The mama passed away from birthing complications, leaving the girl trapped inside that city with no one but her father. Her father was sharper than a brusher's pike, so he got a job working for the city's mancers. His daughter barely saw him. Her father told her nothing of her Ura heritage. He told her nothing of the mancers. It's for your own good, he said. She took to studying the arts, learned more through music than history books, gained a knack for strings and songs. At first, she tried to be like other girls, but her classmates spread word that her father was an Ura trader, selling out the city. One young man stood up for her, or so he led her to believe. He knew much of her heritage, and she grew fond of him. The young man convinced her to take him to her family den to meet her father. Spoke of how he wanted to meet a man from the terminals. When the young man greeted her father in the Ura's native language, her father flew into a fit of rage and threw them out. The young man never told her that the Ura's native language is not to be used by foreigners. To do so is a terrible insult. It was then that she decided to escape. The two of them could flee the city together and go to the Tazzle terminals. They would hide inside a garbage bin until it got ingested by a scumbag, then let him slosh on out of the city for disposal. Her plan almost succeeded, but the authorities were already there when that scumbag sidled up to the city walls. The young man had sent the authorities a tip, told him her father was using her to sell secrets to the Tazzle terminals. She and her father were arrested for treason, but her father got a deal. Returned to work for the Mancers, and she'd go free. Before they parted ways for the last time, her father whispered a desperate plea. Hurry home to the den and lock yourself in. She did as she was told, and deep down underground inside that den, she found a journal written in her father's hand. The next day, the door to the den turned to ash. The girl came up for air, and she saw the calamity all around her. Kid wakes up, his world still in pieces, just the way he left it. can't rightly call Mount Zand a mountain anymore. So they figure they'll hold out right here, on a slab of mountain the Calamity forgot. There's no place left for the beasts of the wild to go. Good thing for those beasts the Calamity saved leftovers. Those beasts been hoarding all the valuables they could find. We only found their little lair because they found themselves a little shard. The creatures of the wild, they've been building a bastion of their own. They even dragged their children into this. Without a doubt, the situation stinks. Best thing we can do for those beasts right now is put them down, quick and clean. Besides, we have to take back what's ours. Even if the beasts of the wilds won't like it. What the city left behind, those beasts took for themselves. It takes a lot of convincing, and our mortars have to do the talking. Look at it this way, it's either them or us. Those beasts been hard at work fixing up the place. They've rounded up their survivors, just like we have. They've been searching for cores and shards, just like we have. We just really need their shard. Kid got it fair and square. That's the way. He's done what's best for him, don't you worry. Don't you worry. The monument's getting better. Zolf sure did a number on it, though. The memorial may be finished, but our part is far from over. Fixed that thing right up, didn't we? Made these goings-on a little livelier. Suppose it's true a little song can put things in perspective. The conscience. We haven't lost everything, long as we have that. Imagine everything you'd need to build a city like Caelondia. It takes hard work and planning, and it also takes Bastion quarry. The Ura tunnels beneath the quarry must have softened the blow from the Calamity. We bought the whole place from the Ura on the cheap. Same goes for its natives, Rattletails. Rattletails ain't the worst of it either, but more about that in a little bit. Windbags smaller than the naked eye can see are nested in these rocks. Not only are these rocks a source of life, but there was even more to it than that. We found that the oldest ones remember things. They're recording everything, all the time, taking it all in. No wonder all those beasts were drawn to the quarry. The rocks were calling them. Rattletails kept tunneling in to snack on windbags. Now why would the Ura sell off such a fascinating place? The Ura always were a superstitious lot. It might be the gods told them the quarry's bad news. On top of that, you know the Ura hated anything above ground. In any case, it's fair to say the quarry was a godsend. The largest ones, you know as cores. A single core could keep the lights on in an entire city district. The smaller ones, we call them shards. A shard's got a fraction of a core's power, enough to fuel a voyage to the motherland. Well, now the quarry's all dried up. These rocks are much too young to be of use. Remember how I said Rattletails ain't the worst thing in the quarry? That honor goes to a beast we took to Colin, Sir Lunky. Massive things stomped many of our boys. We just couldn't get rid of him. The only thing harder than the rocks in Bastion Quarry is Sir Lunky's head. We never could get stubborn old Lunky to leave the quarry alone. Then the kid hears a voice calling from down the hall.
We meet again,
It's
Zolf.
him. I've come to warn you, he says. The Bastion is under siege. Let it fall. You should not go back. Kid hears him, but he ain't about to be deterred. If that's the way it is, he says, then I won't stop you. Because my countrymen will. Say what you will about Zulf, but he's a man of his word.
Bastion is under siege. Time to deal with some Ura.
His countrymen don't much care for pleasantries, though. Too bad for that. Zulf showed them the way here, and here they came to take revenge. They got inside the Bastion and shut the door. Kid's gotta go in through the back. I should have told him sooner about all this. Unfortunately, they broke in, and they started digging their hole. Something wrong sprung out of those holes, and it's eating away at this place. We tried to stop him, but we needed him. Somehow, some way, he sends those Ura packing. Problem is, it didn't matter. Zulf's plan worked. We find each other as the dust settles. Then I tell him why the Ura came. To get us back. For the calamity. It was Caelondia's master plan to wipe the Ura out. But part of that plan backfired, didn't it? If only Zulf knew the whole story.
Well, aren't we the baddies?
What were we to think? They must have got her. Taken her back to her rightful home. The shards can put this disease in remission, but there's only one cure. We need to finish what we started. Seems the gods recommended this place to all their friends. The Ura swooped down from the east. At least now we know the way.
Proving grounds for the hammer.
City's unwanted things all met their end in the yard. Folks who fouled up would do their time here, smashing things to bits. The quicker they worked, the sooner they could go. Folks learned to plant their feet and put their backs into it. Others would plot a course to navigate that sea of junk. A good day's smashing could feed a family for a week. The strongest, fastest folks earn more than their fair share.
Finally got first place in something.
Last shard. It's all we need to put this mess behind us. And mother, what a mess it is. A mess like that could have only been made by hand. Zulf said the calamity failed, and he's right. The Uras stand as living proof of that. At the heart of the calamity was a simple idea. We never wanted to go to war again. Wanted to rule it out. We put a lot of folks against that problem. Scientists, soldiers, spies, even me. We sought solutions far beyond the city. Most of our efforts didn't bear fruit. It came from an Ura, a brilliant young scientist named Ven. Ven worked for the Mancers, the sharpest knives in the city's drawer. With his help, the Mancers devised a way to seal the Ura tunnels shut in a flash. Just like that, every last Ura living in the Tassel terminals will be gone. This discovery was never to be used, they said, except as a last resort. But Ven didn't like being manipulated. He had plans of his own. He sabotaged the Mancers' little science project, set it to blow up in their faces. Imagine how Ven must have felt when they finally made him pull that trigger. But remember, the Bastion can fix everything. We just need that shard. Too bad the Ura ain't exactly been willing to collaborate on that front. For now, Kid had little choice but to pick up where the calamity left off. First things first, though, there's someone we figured needed rescuing. Zia. Well, now it's personal, ain't it? is personal for him, and it's personal for me. They never saw him coming. He gets his hands on the care package I sent him. It's a little something I've been fixing up in my spare time. The Ura found a way to keep the calamity from spreading through Sultan's Hollow. They got their own security and everything. Pretty fancy. They've got these conductors that are all what's keeping the place together. Break enough of those things and the calamity rocks slink back into the ground. Kids picking the whole place apart, piece by piece. They underestimated us, had us pegged all wrong. Zulf, the Ura, they have every reason to be angry. Beyond angry. Way out there on the edge of the world. That's where he finally finds you. But it ain't like Prosper Bluff this time. Ain't nothing for this gal to sing about now. Zia, you weren't kidnapped. No, ma'am. You just had to see what happened to the Ura. To your own people. To see if everything Zulf wrote to you was true. I don't need to see what happened to the Ura. I'm trying to undo it, remember? Sure you didn't drop that twangy thing on purpose? Just to see if he'd go after you? They lost everything, didn't they? But they just keep on fighting like that's gonna bring it all back. Once the kid gets that last shard from Zulf, it'll all be over.
Well, looks like it's the final battle.
I can't hear him at all anymore. He's too far away. But he'll be alright. You know why Zulf went back there. The place was his home. All his old friends and family were there. All of us are waiting for a kid. But Zia, there's another reason I've been telling you all this. When the kid brings back that shard, the Bastion will be complete. What happens to Zulf will no longer matter. Zealandia will be whole again. Problem is, we'll all be gone. But we're not gonna die. It's more like all of this will just stop. Things will go back to the way they used to be. This whole place is a living record of the times before the calamity. The way things were before this story. Good times, right? You follow me? Think of all those times that didn't go your way. All of life's little setbacks. Imagine if you could have another go at him. Anyone you've ever hurt, everything you've ever done, you could do it over. And wouldn't that be grand? I guess there's nothing more to say. Who am I kidding? Look, a confession. How come I know so much about the Bastion? Well, I designed the place, but that's beside the point. There's one problem with a place that sets things back to a bygone time. You can't test it. So you're probably wondering if the calamity happened already. What's to stop it from happening again after the Bastion does its thing? The answer is, I don't know. You're wondering if there ain't some other way out of this mess. It's alright. I can tell. But why would you even want another way? Unless you wanted to stay here with us. Well, that's sweet and all, but I don't know if I can stick around. The weight of the calamity, it's on our shoulders. We can't just let it go. Bastion does have another function, strictly speaking. If ever the monument blew out and we couldn't repair it, we could still evacuate. First, we'd round up as many folks as we could carry. Next, we'd detonate the cores, and we'd take off. Away from here. Heavy, ain't it? Of course, that would mean no going back. Ever. But then again, that way all of us could leave the city. Together. You know Zolf and his countrymen won't be giving up that shard without a fight, don't you? Zolf and the Ura. All they want now is to see the Bastion fall. Zolf dedicated his life to a lasting peace between the Ura and Caelondia. He can't have imagined the city would try to wipe the Ura out. Zolf ain't lost every shred of decency though, has he? He tried to warn you about his plans. He tried to warn the kid. One thing's for sure, the Ura can't be happy that the kid followed Zolf all the way home.
Even though everyone hates you, Zolf, we ain't leaving you here to die.
I can see it now. The kid in one corner, and Zolf in the other. Ain't much of a fight. Don't you worry, though. Once the Bastion's restored, it'll all be alright. You ain't still thinking about that whole leaving the city thing, are you?
I see your star, you left it burning for me. Mother, I'm here. Eyes open wide. Feel your heart in
Kid's probably dealt with Zolf by now. He reminds me of myself when I was his age. I ever tell you about those days? Hey, kid. Get up, kid. Come on, that ain't funny. I say get up. That's more like it. Now, set that shard into the monument there. Then we'll talk. The Bastion. It's finally finished. Now, there's something I want you to see. To the heart of the Bastion. I ain't one for long goodbyes, so here's the deal. Zia and I figure you done the heavy lifting, so you get to do the honors. We can tell you how to work this thing if you got any questions.
You made it. So, let's see. You can either prevent the calamity, or stick around with me and Rex. I'd hate to be in your shoes. If I could be any place I wanted, I'd stay right here. We could go anywhere in the world. Zolf tried to talk me into joining him. I tried to talk him out of it. I guess we both failed. When I finally found my people, I told them we could help. They just took me for a traitor. Glad you showed up. Any moment I'd want to live again happened after the calamity, not before.
kid. You can undo the calamity here and now. Go on, kid. And before I forget, thank you. Always wondered what the motherland was like. Not that it matters anymore. Zolf only brought more ruin to the Ura. No wonder they didn't take kindly to him. You've got one thing left to do, so you hang on to that badge. Besides, you earned it. Don't let anything you've done get to you. You can save all those creatures here and now.
Two choices. I assume restoration is just going back to the past to restart the cycle. It's time to move on. Let's go see the world.
Oh, mother. And here I figured you'd had enough of me by now. You could have undone the calamity itself. But instead you want to stay. In a world like this. I gotta admit, kid, I ain't yet put much thought in that idea of carrying on with you here. We can't go back no more, but I suppose we could go wherever we please. And if anyone's left out there, I sure would like to see the look in their faces when we dock this thing right on their doorstep. Getting ahead of myself, though. I'm gonna need a first mate. What do you say?
I set myself, fly the wind it will take me.
That's the story of Bastion. With our choice of moving forward instead of repeating the past, I hope you move forward with me and hit the subscribe button. This was a quick video as I work on my next 100 days, so you'll want to be subscribed to not miss it. If anything, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye for now.